Welcome back to College Football Syllabus. My name is Nathan, and we are back talking playoff rankings. We had a fantastic, fun weekend of college football this past weekend, and we have an amazing weekend ahead of us. So we're going to look ahead at my projected playoff rankings. This is not what I think it's going to be when the rankings come out. This is how I think things are going to wind up at the end of the season. Obviously, things can change between now and then. These are based off of the wins and losses that I have projected. You can disagree with it. That's fine. Here's what I got. Up top, we're going with the no-brainer right now. It's Ohio State. They are number one until someone takes number one away from them, especially with what we saw from Indiana this past weekend. Ohio State is number one. Number two, I've got Texas A&M. I think they're going to win the SEC. The winner of the SEC is going to get the number two spot. That's just how it's going to be. Right behind them, we've got the losers of the conference championship games, in my opinion. Indiana at 3 and Bama at 4. Unchanged. I don't think that's going to change at all. Those top four spots are going to those four teams. It's just going to be what the order is. Coming in at 5, I'm sticking with UGA. I know the Dogs haven't been the most impressive team, but they're continuing to get the job done. They've got some tough tests. They're going to make their resume look even better in a few weeks. They got Texas this weekend. They got Georgia Tech to end the season. I think that Georgia's going to stay right there at that 5 spot. Right behind them, we've got Oregon, the third team out of the Big Ten, and I think the final team out of the Big Ten. Great win for the Ducks this past weekend, taking down Iowa in a super tight game. I was really worried about Oregon. I think they've established themselves firmly in that 6th spot. Coming in right behind them, we've got our Big 12 champion. I think it's going to be Texas Tech. They manhandled BYU this past weekend, and I think they'll likely manhandle BYU again when they play in the conference championship game. Unfortunately, with Texas Tech winning, I think that kind of relegates the Big 12 to just getting one team into the playoff, but Texas Tech is a strong representative. Right behind them, I'm sticking with Ole Miss. Ole Miss still just has their one loss on the season, and that was to Georgia. Ole Miss is continuing to get the job done week in and week out. I don't think you can make an argument against them at this point. You can maybe move them down a spot or two, but I'm pretty comfortable where they are. Coming in right behind them at number 9, we've got Notre Dame. They just keep climbing and climbing while other teams continue to fall. Notre Dame continues to rise. They're knocking off not the toughest tests, but some tougher tests. They're playing better teams than they were early in the season. They're getting the job done. They got their losses out of the way early. Again, they lost to Texas A&M and Miami. Yeah, there's going to be the argument about Miami beat them. Should Miami be in? Notre Dame's playing a better schedule than Miami. You got to beat better teams. Miami had their chances. Give me Notre Dame at the 9 spot. This is where it's really going to get testy. At number 10, I've got Vanderbilt. I know, another team out of the SEC and not the one that people are talking about. Unfortunately, I think Oklahoma and Texas are just going to pick up some tough losses over these last couple weeks. They're going to knock themselves out of playoff contention. Vanderbilt has a fairly easier schedule. They play Kentucky and Tennessee to end the year. Tennessee is ranked, so that'll be a ranked win for them. I think Vandy sneaks into that last spot. There's a bunch of teams vying for that spot, but I really think it's going to be Vanderbilt. At 11, I've finally got our ACC champion. Right now, I'm going with Georgia Tech. I've been saying Tech all along. I think they're the best team in the conference. I'm sticking with Georgia Tech. I'd be lying if I said I completely understood how the ACC playoff projections work. You'd be lying if you told me that you knew how they work. So right now, I'm going with Georgia Tech. There's a lot of teams with one loss in conference that will play their way into things or play their way out of things. We'll see what happens. I'm going with Tech. And last but not least, I've got USF taking the G5 spot. The argument is there for JMU. I'm going to get a lot of flack from this, especially from my dad if he ends up watching this video, for not having JMU in. Dad, I'm sorry. I just think that at the end of the day, the AAC champion is going to have played a tougher schedule than JMU. Yes, USF has 2 losses and JMU's 1, but just look at who they've played, look at who they're going to play. The AAC championship game is going to be a lot more competitive and 2 better teams than what's going to be in the JMU Conference Championship